I do want to read a quick email since this is certainly another poorly chosen aphorism. This one isn't a perverted witty saying the way that you must beat to be the champ, you must beat the champ. But this is also a horrible one. Corey in Indy writes in, another ridiculous you got to beat the champ saying, don't leave it in the hands of the judges. Well, guess what? If Shogun went out trying to KO Machida and not leave it in the hands of the judges, he doesn't even see the fourth round, and the legend of Machida grows even more. Which is an important point. I always die a bit inside when people say don't leave it in the hands of the judges, because it think of the assumptions that it makes. First of all, you're essentially telling someone, especially think of the case of Shogun. He was able to have success because rather than going out and fighting with reckless abandon and hunting for a stoppage, he fought intelligently, tactically, and was able to pile up offense on Lyoto Machida. He did exactly the things that were counter and opposite to the reasons that I think most people thought he would lose to Lyoto Machida, myself included. Do people really think that, as Corey points out, he would have had success if he went barreling at him like he did Quentin Jackson? He would have gotten absolutely destroyed with left-hand counters straight to the face. Not a chance. And more than that, the very logic that is contained in the poor maxim, it's ridiculous. Don't leave it in the hands of the judges is always used basically as a cautionary tale at best and a condemnation of a fighter at times. Hey, you may have won, but can't leave it in the hands of the judges, man. You didn't really win. Are you joking me? A guy can fight his ass off, and if he doesn't go out and actually finish his opponent, never mind the fact that there are some fighters in mixed martial arts who don't necessarily lend themselves to being finished, who are very difficult to do it to. More than that, consider the fact that we always say that styles make matchups. Are we really to penalize a guy if he's a brilliant grappler and he faces another brilliant grappler and he's unable to submit him? Is it fair to say, hey, man, you had to have finished him or you don't really win?
I have no doubt in my mind that almost any A or B level fighter, for that matter, as long as they play defensive the whole entire time, can last 15 minutes. No problem.
I agree. Well, Caleb Starnes,
exactly,
just doing like absolutely ridiculous. My soul dies a bit every time someone says, don't leave it in the hands of the judges. If someone gets ripped off, they got ripped off. And although maybe there is something to be said for a guy fighting harder, and maybe there's some validity to it if a guy had compromising positions and clearly could have finished an opponent and didn't take the initiative or fought in a way which undercut himself, that's one thing. But to just look at a guy who fought a brilliant fight and dominate his opponent and say, hey, man, can't leave it in the hands of the judges, just suicide yourself. Just not okay. Not acceptable, logical, rational on absolutely any level, especially when you're talking about A-level fighters competing with one another. Ridiculous.